Finally this hour, March is Women's History Month, and we want to tell you about a new film out in theaters across the country tomorrow, which tells the story of a trailblazer in women's sports, wrestler Mildred Burke. She rose up during the 1930s and became the first female athlete to earn more than $1 million a year, often defying the laws of her time. Queen of the Ring screened in New York earlier this week, and on the red carpet, we got a chance to hear from some modern-day wrestlers about how Burke's story inspired them.
The biggest stars in wrestling have been male for so long, and now showing that women across the board have those roots and can be inspired to accomplish more.
Tenacity is everything, and if you want to do something, don't take no for an answer.
Earlier this week, I sat down with Emily Bett Rickards, who plays Mildred Burke, and Ash Avildsen, who wrote and directed Queen of the Ring. Here's our conversation. Emily and Ash, good morning to both of you. Thank you so much for joining us for this just incredibly fascinating project. Emily, I'll start with you. What drew you to this character?
Well, as soon as I read the script from Ash, Mildred sort of jumped off the page with this incredible heart, not to mention this dream that she self-describes as coming out of nowhere. She didn't really have a basis for this dream, and she had this just propeller that was in her that against all odds, no matter what, if you told her no, she was going to go after it. And that really inspired me. And she did it all as a single mother with this gorgeous heart. I honor her.
In some ways, she was like the Tina Turner of wrestling with her relationship with her manager and husband, which is very Ike and Tina-esque. But just to see how she didn't let it break her spirit, her glow. Like she still had it through all of it, which is very, very hard. So I just think the resilience and the passion and also just how much she trailblazed culture at the time.
Emily, she was so successful, and yet we just don't know her story about how groundbreaking she was. Why do you think that is?
Well, the rise of television actually was kind of the kicker, we think. She was that millisecond before. And not being on television as the age of television was taking off really damaged her visibility. But in her era, you know, the women that she was with and who she was with, they were like movie stars, you know, decked out in diamonds and gathering crowds of thousands of people. And this was, you know, women's wrestling was still illegal. So to get thousands of people to come to your show just to prove, to sort of trailblaze this type of equality in this realm of wrestling is incredible.
Her husband manager also is to blame for some of her not being remembered because he downplayed television. This didn't make the final cut of the film, but he talked about, like, why would anyone want to watch our incredible show in some little black and white box? And he completely dismissed it. And what's fascinating from learning from all the research for this film is that Gorgeous George, who's played by Adam Demos, who's in the film, who was inspired by Mildred. He became the most famous wrestler of his time thanks to the TV era, and he was actually one of the reasons they sold televisions at the very beginning. They're called Georgie boxes, and he sold more televisions than almost any pop culture person back then. And it all kind of stems from Mildred, which you'll see in the story how much they had a bond. So just fun inside history that's kind of forgotten by time.
If there's one thing that people can take away from this, what do you hope it is?
Well, we talk about her resilience a lot, but I think that there's something to be learned about having polar opposites come together. She believed that two things can strengthen each other. She was like, I can be feminine and I can be strong. Yeah. And if we involve everyone together, we get stronger together. You start isolating people and putting people down, it only divides us.
Yes.
And she was a true believer in fairness, the right to choose, and bringing us together as a community.
Very good. Emily, Ash, thank you both. We appreciate your time. Looking forward to seeing this movie.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
And you can see Queen of the Ring in theaters starting tomorrow. All right, that is going to do it for this hour of Morning News Now.
But the news continues right now.